Hey, welcome to True Day 2, your 21-day self-discovery coaching journey. I'm your host, Miles Grant. Great to have you with us again. If you missed yesterday was all about health, all about giving you some really practical questions to help you to really raise the standard of your health this year. Everybody, I believe, knows what to do already to achieve the health of their dreams, but the vast majority of people don't have the health that they want. And that is because a lot of people are just going on the internet and looking for information. We have an abundance of information. The world is at your fingertips with information when it comes to going on Google and social media. Everybody has an answer. Everybody has an opinion. But for me, one of the key things and the reason why I've created this process, this 21-day journey, is because I think what you need to have a great life in 2022 is very different than pre-pandemic. What the world needs right now is not more answers. I believe what the world needs right now is better questions. And what the world needs right now is space to think, space to reflect, space to really, really analyze and assess what makes you happy right now. What makes you happy will be completely different to someone else. And there's nothing that you can do, no answers on Google that is going to help you define happiness like you spending time introspectively going within and finding out what's really important to you. So my job over the next 21 days is to ask you some questions and to give you the space to find what's important to you from within. I have mentors. I'm a big advocate for mentors. I am to many a mentor, but I also believe that I believe that before you go and get a mentor, you need a coach. And the reason why I say that is because although a mentor can collapse timeframes and say, if you are here and you want to get to here, I can show you the way. But if you don't know where you are already, and you don't know exactly where you want to go, and you don't know for certain that the place that mentor can take you is going to truly make you happy, well, that's where coaching comes in. Because when you spend the time to introspectively go with inside yourself, really uncover your deepest values, beliefs, look at the patterns that have been holding you back. If you don't work on that stuff, you can arrive at a destination and not be fulfilled. I'll never forget going traveling years ago. I went backpacking in Honduras in Central America, volunteering in a school in this paradise part of Central America. Sounds idyllic, right? I dreamed about this trip all year. It was like a pilgrimage to the journey of myself, or so I thought. And on New Year's Eve, I'm in this hostel by myself as the year rings in. I've separated myself from the people that I was with, both physically and emotionally. And I was alone and I was miserable. And I remember crying at midnight. And the reason why I cried at midnight is because I hadn't got this area in check. I hadn't got my emotions in check. You see, I was a kid that grew up on a council estate, raised by my incredible, hardworking single mum. But subconsciously, I had a lot of limiting beliefs because my dad left my mum when I was very young. And that meant that I had a very, very high need to be validated and to be significant in the eyes of others. I was terrified of being rejected. And it's something that even to this day, I still have to do a lot of work on. Because I kind of believe that working on our emotions is like working on fitness. You can't join the gym, go for a few weeks, get a great body, and then stop. It's an ongoing process. Emotions are no different. During the pandemic, I'm sure like all of us, I had some highs and I had some lows, more lows than highs for sure. But one of the things that got me through was working on this area that I call emotional life. You see, I believe that it doesn't matter how much money you've got, doesn't matter what your health is, doesn't matter what your career is. If you have good emotions, like if you have more positive emotions than negative emotions, on average, your day will be good. We all know people that are wealthy that are miserable. We all know people that are poor that are miserable. And we all know people that are wealthy that are really happy. And we all know people that are in the world's eyes, poor and really happy. You know, you can see people on television in countries that are starved of anything good. They have no clean water, they have no sanitization, they have no good infrastructure, no education. And you see pictures and videos of children who have clearly got they're malnourished and they've got a smile on their face. Why is that? Why is that? Because their emotional health is good. And then you see people that are in the most abundant place in the universe, in the Western world, apparently having everything. They have a nice home, nice house, great family, kids, and they commit suicide. Why is that? Because they didn't take care of their emotional home. Your emotions will define your life. How healthy you are in your emotional home will dictate your whole life. During the pandemic, I made a decision because there was things out of my control. I went, well, there's a lot of things I can't do now. Can't travel. There's a lot of, can't see my family, can't see my friends. So what am I going to do? And I went in and I had some coaching and I got back into my personal development. And one of the key things that stood out for me was managing your emotions will define how you feel. Like if you've ever read the story of Viktor Frankl, read the book Man's Search for Meaning, he was a Holocaust survivor. He was in Auschwitz, watched all his family get gassed to death, and he came out with more meaning than he went in. Nelson Mandela in Robben Island prison for 20 plus years came out and united his country. Why is that? Because those people took care of their emotional health, of their emotional life. So I don't know what you're going through right now, my friend. But what I do know is when you take care of your emotions, it makes life a lot easier. Doesn't make life easy. Life still comes in. You're still going to get shit. Things are still going to happen. Put my microphone on. But it will be easier. It will be easier if your emotional health is good. So let's get into today's session, shall we? I'm gonna bring up a slide deck for you. So if you haven't already, make sure you've got your notepad so that you can follow along and you can write down the answers to some coaching questions that I'm going to present you with. So, fresh notepad, hopefully the same notepad that you were using yesterday. That would definitely help because it is a natural continuation on what we did yesterday. And we're going to dive in to looking at your emotional life. So, first statement or question in today's coaching session is as follows. The ideal emotions that I want to feel each day are, if you had to put your ideal emotions into words, what would they be? How do you want to feel each day? If you could literally wave a magic wand and feel whatever is the best feelings that you could have, think about some of the best experiences of your life. That will probably be where you'll find the answers to this question. Things that I've heard people say before are joy, gratitude, peace, laughter, energy, vitality, calm, stillness, exuberant. These are just some of the words I've heard before. What are some emotions? Happy, blessed. What are some emotions that you want to feel each day? More intentional you are with deciding these emotions, the easier it will be to experience them. Most people will never do this level of work. So give yourself a pat on the shoulder for being here and doing this work. So what are the ideal emotions you want to feel each day? And if you're just joining us, welcome to True, a 21-day coaching self-coaching journey. We're on day 2, emotional life. If you missed yesterday on health, the link to that, I think the recording should be somewhere in the chat. If it's not, you can send me a message and I can send you the recording from yesterday. So the ideal emotions that you want to feel each day are, write those down. Those of you that are ahead of the game, moving on to the next one. For me to feel my ideal emotions on a daily basis this year, I'd have to stop. So what would you have to stop doing? Or who would you have to stop being? There's a question. For you to feel your ideal emotions on a daily basis. Maybe you'd have to stop complaining, judging other people, judging yourself. Stop reading the news. Stop spending endless hours on social media. Stop reacting to every message that comes in on your telephone. What would you have to stop doing for you to feel your ideal emotions this year? And for those of you that are ahead, sorry, I realize I maybe went about these the wrong way. So for you to feel your ideal emotions on a daily basis, you'd have to stop doing or feel or doing or being. And for those of you that didn't catch that one, for you to feel your ideal emotions on a daily basis this year, I'd have to start. What would you have to start doing? Start getting up early, start doing affirmations. Some of the things that I did during COVID is I got back in the routine of doing affirmations. Meditation has become a regular practice of mine. Yoga is a regular daily practice of mine. Every day I write down what I'm grateful for. I do a gratitude journal every day. These are things that for me contribute to me having more balanced emotional health than I used to just a few years ago. And so what are some things that you'd have to start doing? And what are some things that you'd have to stop doing? Okay. A person or persons that already have my desired result that I could ask for help include. So a bit like the health question yesterday, and there's a reason why these questions are the same in their format, is because I think that they can resolve the same and give you the same clarity. So who is a person or who are persons that you know who you feel have good emotional health? I have got a friend in particular that I've been friends with for years. His name is Jules. His name is Julian. And he, for me, has the best emotional health of anyone that I've ever met, because he could make himself laugh. Nobody else thought he was funny. He would crack himself up laughing. We would be in a place and he would say something and someone would smile and he would laugh, and he would literally be out the door, round the corner of this pub or bar or restaurant, making himself laugh. And he would like do this thing where he would need to go away to compose himself to come back. No one else did anything. He literally made himself laugh. And so for me, that was a person that when I was low and didn't have good emotional health, I wanted to be around him, and he rubbed off on me. And even now, there are times where I say guilty of, but I love it, will make myself laugh by telling myself silly jokes that aren't really funny, because that makes me feel emotionally good. And kids are great at that. Kids are especially good at that. Maybe it's spending more time with kids. We have a beautiful daughter, Sage, and she is a role model for emotional well-being and health. She is just constantly dancing, constantly singing. She's always got a smile on her face. And she, for me, is a great role model. And the more time I spend with her, the more emotionally healthy and balanced I feel. So who is a person that you could spend time with, that you could ask for help, to help increase and improve your emotional health. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, next question / statement. With my ideal emotions, my life will be better in the following ways. So how will life be better with great emotions? For me, when I started to really take care of my emotional health, I firstly was able to meet my now wife. And I feel, we're not perfect. We still have arguments. We're definitely not immune to those, but I believe our marriage gets better every single year. And I don't think that's got as much to do with the marriage and more to do with two individuals who are taking responsibility for their emotions. We're not pointing the finger at each other. We are taking the time to work on ourselves. And by working on ourselves independently, we can coexist in a way that is really, really coherent. So for me, it impacts my marriage, it impacts my parenting. It positively has impacted my business. I used to be the person that would spend endless amounts of hours learning about business and marketing and felt like I would take a step forward and 3 steps back. And then when I really started to work on mastering my state and my emotions, things just started to get easier and feel better, and challenges would come in. We had a big challenge this year. Somebody came into our business and then tried to poach our clients. And that years ago would have affected me emotionally, and now it doesn't, because of working on this area. Doesn't mean it's not a problem, but it means that I'm not going to allow myself to become emotionally charged by something that, in the grand scheme of life, is pretty insignificant compared to life and death and things like that. So with my ideal emotions, my life will be better in the following ways. Hopefully you've got something down. And last question, as will probably be the last question pretty much every single day of these broadcasts, to simplify and bring everything all together, a small step I will take today towards achieving my ideal emotions this year is. So what is a small step that you could take? Maybe you could start a gratitude journal. Maybe you could reintroduce the habit of doing affirmations every morning. Maybe you could reintroduce meditation or yoga. What is a small step that you could take today towards achieving your ideal emotional health this year? Okay, that is it. Last thing there is for me to say is here's what I'd like for you to do. If you are willing to, and I love that some of you have been commenting in the chat as you're watching tonight, I'd love for you to put your action that you're committed to doing in the thread underneath so that I can see it. And as your coach for the next 21 days, I can hold you accountable to making sure that you actually do the thing that you said you're going to do. So what I'd love for you to do is put the action in the chat. And then once you've done the action, come back to your comment. And in the comment of your comment, put, I've completed my action. And then that allows everybody else that's watching the broadcast to comment as well, so that you can all hold each other accountable, and we can just see how we all grow over the next 21 days together. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one on emotional health. We'll see you back tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time. We're going to be working on a brand new area. So come again with an open mind and a fresh notepad, ready for a fresh perspective. So see you tomorrow night, UK time, 6 p.m. I'll see you then. Take care.